Alright, this is going to be an interesting video. I'm going to run the concept of the urban defense rifle past you, and I'm going to mention why I recommend the .22 long rifle. Now, needs to be understood, I'm not talking about just any .22 long rifle. I'm talking about a .22 long rifle using both subsonic ammunition and a suppressor. A suppressor helps to trap the gases that are released when the explosive charge in the bullet is detonated and propels the round down the barrel. This makes it the weapon quieter, not such a loud bang from the sudden release of those gases. More importantly, subsonic ammunition prevents the round from making that small crack when it goes supersonic, thereby reducing the pop and effect down to a very inaudible sound. Now, I want to explain something here. The idea that I'm working with was based off the fact that somebody who had received a book I had written, namely Shadowhunter, which is a Black Dragon Ninjutsu sniper manual. Yes, ninja snipers. Asked me a question concerning the whole situation with my recommendation of the .22 long rifle. I had listed different rifles in there anyways. And what it basically came down to is this. I talked about the idea of using mission-specific weapons. Okay. For those of you who are unfamiliar, ninja snipers have been around for hundreds of years. They were there in the feudal era when ninjutsu was at its highest degree of operation during the golden age of ninjutsu. Now, many of these snipers were known as what would be considered ninpei. These were shinobi soldiers, scouts, and skirmish forces who used Inen camouflage and concealment techniques of ninjutsu to perform guerrilla raids in small teams and pretty much move around the battlefield as scouts to locate enemy positions. Now, they're the modern equivalent of commandos in light infantry. And now, that being said, on where the book came from and how this got in there, and my shameless plug, I know. A lot of people mistake the idea of what a sniper is and what a sniper attack is. Okay, a sniper attack, as far as what the civilian media portrays it as, is nothing more than a shot from a usually considered at long range, but in all reality, sometimes it's not that long of a range. It's a shot by a concealed marksman. Okay, that simple. Typically at range, but not always. Modern infantry is trained in being able to be concealed. And typically under the military doctrine, the so-called sniper attack is nothing more than a far ambush. And anyone can conduct, any person who's been through Marine Corps or Army basic training can conduct a far ambush. It's very simple. Hell, our cooks who've been through basic training can do so. And if you're wondering, well, how can you say that? Because sniper school and da-da-da. Well, let me explain something to you about the military. Okay, first of all, many of those schools that the military puts you through, like Special Forces and Ranger and Sniper and everything else, are only allowable to NCOs. Alright, you can go in the Army on a Ranger contract. It doesn't mean you get Ranger school. It means you get airborne school, and you go through basic training, go to your airborne school, and then you go to Ranger Bat. Yes, a Ranger battalion. And that's it. There's your Ranger contract. The fact of the matter is, NCOs, the sergeants, few rare occasions of corporals, and above are the ones who get those high-profile specialty schools like Sniper School and Special Forces School and things of that nature. The reason why essentially comes down to this. Okay, an NCO's job is to train his soldiers. Right? So a sergeant who has been to sniper school will train his soldiers, particularly in the role of being a sniper. To give you an example of this, I was a headquarters scout. I was qualified on the M24, which is the U.S. Army sniper rifle, bolt action. But I wasn't. I had never gone to sniper school. I learned how to make a ghillie suit in scouts as part of scout platoon. It was one of our training operations, training drills, whatever. In fact, just an example, during an FTX, me and another person I was operating as his spotter, was put on a hillside as an OP, an observation post, and we watched the OP4 set up a TOC, a temporary operations command, in the valley. And we were able to confirm it was in fact the OPFOR's TOC because their colonel was there. And the sniper of the team decides to call in and request permission from our TOC if we could fire on the enemy commander and take him out. We were told to stand down. Instead, mortars were called in from on the coordinates that we gave our FOB, forward operating base, which is just another word for TOC. And mortars destroy the objective. Now, granted, this was all a Miles Gear war game, and some OC comes in and says, yeah, mortars just got dropped, you're all dead. But the idea was more effective to destroy the entire command structure than just take out one person. Because why? Snipers aren't ninja assassins. They aren't sniper assassins. You're not going to put one bullet in someone and kill them and do it all, assassination style like the JFK assassination or anything like that. You're not talking about some Hollywood hitman fantasy. And that being said, you have to understand that when you're talking about long-range marksmanship or long-range concealed marksmanship, anyone can do it. It's not so much a specialty skill that requires a school. It requires training, it requires practice, but you can get by with the fundamentals. And this is where I'm coming to with the, even mentioning this whole sniper thing comes back to this. There are only 3 occasions when a far ambush or any attack on another person, given a shit hits the fan scenario, any shit hits the fan scenario, is justified. One is to defend yourself from a known threat. Okay. So how do you know someone's a threat at 800 yards, 500 yards, 300 yards, 100 yards? Well, rhetorical question, I'll tell you. One, their uniform. If you're looking for guys decked out like their G.I. Joe that's going house to house, taking things over, if you're looking for people who are in a gang or some other group affiliation which is trying to take things over during a moment of catastrophe, which happens a lot among the criminal class, then you see guys coming down wearing gang collars with weapons openly displayed, and you know this stuff's going on in another part of your neighborhood, town, city, whatever. You're justified. You have an immediate threat to your life based on the information. You know the individual. If Charlie across town hates you because you took his high school sweetheart and got married to her, and he keeps trying to pick a fight with you and threatens to kill you, and you see him walk into your house with a rifle slung over his shoulder, you have a justified reason to believe that your life is in danger. And then there's the other option that you witness a criminal attack. If you're sitting there and somebody kicks in your neighbor's door and drags your neighbor, out into the yard and executes him while this person and a few others are over there, harming his family. I'm not going to get into specifics of it, but because just thinking about it turns my stomach. Well, here's the thing about it. If you witness a criminal activity and you know that they're going to harm other people, they have harmed other people, or that they are harming other people, and that you might be next, you have a justifiable reason. But other than that, that's it. No more. And now, that's one, the whole idea of defending yourself against a threat. The other two are creating distance from breaking contact, and the idea of attacking another group. Now, I'm going to leave 3 out of this for a moment because I know that caught everybody's attention. But 1, the idea of creating distance. Okay, you're bugging out. You live in a city. Notice I said urban defense rifle. Suburbs can be included in this too. And you're bugging out. All right. You got your bob on. You have your. This is where I suggest a breakdown 22 long rifle you can stuff in the back, and you have a handgun. Your handgun is your immediate go-to thing in a threat while bugging out the city. So you're getting out of the area. The shit has hit the fan, whether it's a hurricane or whatever, and you're leaving. Okay, someone tries to hold you up with a knife. You pull out your gun. You try to threaten him away. He throws his knife down, runs away all chicken shit. You get a couple streets up. The same guy's coming up an alley, and he's got 4 other guys with him. One of them has a handgun. The other 2 got baseball bats. And, this guy's got him another knife, and they're headed in your direction. Okay. Criteria met. Incidentally. Guess what? You're justified. They're coming up to you. You're telling them to keep their distance. They keep advancing. You open up with the handgun. They run for cover. You run for cover. Drop the bob. Pop out your 22. Slap it. Break down 22. Slap it together as quickly as you can, preferably while getting distance. And you reach a point to where you want these guys out of your way. So you're opening fire from a distance. And every time you shoot at them, and every time they duck behind a dumpster, or in a doorway, or behind a car, you're running up another side street. You're taking another way around. You're cutting a different direction, all for the purpose of breaking contact, of keeping them from being able to directly confront and come at you. That's what you're wanting to do. In that response to 2, yeah, long-range shooting is justified. In 3, the idea of attacking another person or another group, of going out and engaging someone, has to be based on the fact that they are a known threat, that they have used violence against you or others or something like that. In the case I gave, seeing somebody attacking my neighbor. If I see this go down and I decide to aid, I'm not going to be doing it from my doorstep, for one. But in that case, when these guys pull out, they break contact, and they head home, I'm going to want to follow them. If I deem that they're a threat to me because of what they've done to my neighbors, and that there's still a threat out there in case something gets done or doesn't get done, I'm going to remove them. Hey, it's without rule of law. I can do what the fuck I want, right? Well, except for when they reestablish rule of law, in which case I got to answer for my crimes. If I go in the court and I say, hey, these guys killed my neighbor and raped his wife and kidnapped his daughter, and I went after him. We didn't have police, and the National Guard wasn't there, and there was no one to protect us, and I took it upon myself to do so. If I'm the bad guy, cool, fuck off. I did what I thought it was right, and I'm going to leave it at that. If I get jail time for it, whatever. But that's the reality. Doing the right thing is never easy. And it's never popular. Now, in the idea of using a 22 long rifle, here's the thing about it, right? When you're dealing with your little strawman argument of the 5 thugs coming at you and you're wanting to put rounds down, you don't want to be visible. Ideally, the whole idea of keeping your rifle in your pack was to be invisible. So while you're trying to break contact, you don't want these guys to know where your position is. You want to hide it as best you can. And for that, you want the suppressor. to reduce the bang. You want the subsonic ammo to prevent that crack. You don't want them to have as much noise or flash and be able to identify your location. You want to be able to hit them, keep their heads ducked down behind cover, and get the hell out of Dodge. Now, as I'm talking about this, I'm actually thinking through my mind the idea of using certain individual tactics that I've picked up over the years. One of which is the idea of retreating fire. You know, most people aren't aware of this because this isn't really taught anymore. I don't know if it's ever been taught, really, to be honest with you. But I've heard of people in certain situations laying down suppressive fire on a objective and walking backwards away from it to a point of cover so they can get to where they got to go, tactically reload, start laying down suppressive fire again, and then move to another point of cover. Because while you're doing that, you're keeping the other guy's heads down, and you're leaving. Now, of course, when you're doing this, your firing schedule, I guess you would say, your firing rate is basically bang bang 1/1000, bang bang 1/1000, just in time for them to get their heads up. They put their heads up during the bang bang, they're shot. They put their heads up just in time for the 1/1000 spot, they're ducking again because you're shooting again. But in that case, the controlled element of being able to put rounds reasonably close to their location is what you're looking at to give you that distance. But at the same time, you're not wanting to be a big known thing. As soon as you can get away to somewhere where you can reasonably feel safe, break down the 22 again, stick it back in your pack, and getting your ass out of Dodge. You don't want to stick around for a firefight. But and that's especially true in the case of an urban self-defense situation. If you have to bug out of town because of riots or craziness or whatever, you want to avoid all that stuff. And part of avoidance is knowing that you're going to be trying to create as much distance between you and trouble as possible. This probably should be a good subject for another video, but I think shows like Doomsday Preppers have actually put a lot of preppers and survivalists in danger from being attacked by certain groups of people, especially the criminal element, within a shit hits the fan scenario that you have had some sort of catastrophic event or society breakdown at some point. And for that, I think it's going to make bugging out a lot harder. But that's a neither here nor there issue.